We're back now live on Capitol Hill here in Washington, where even at this late hour, the place is buzzing with action as some of the president-elect's more controversial cabinet picks are trying to lock down support this evening. Tulsi Gabbard is Trump's pick to be the director of national intelligence. She's been facing some renewed scrutiny over her past defense of the now toppled regime of Bashar al-Assad in Syria, including a meeting that she had with Assad during an unannounced trip that she took there in 2017. With Assad now having fled to Moscow and to the open arms of Vladimir Putin, Gabbard said that this about Trump's demand that the U.S. should stay out of the fight in Syria.
I stand in full support and wholeheartedly agree with the statements that President Trump has made over these last few days with regards to the developments in Syria. My own views and experiences have been shaped by my multiple deployments and seeing firsthand the cost of war and the threat of Islamist terrorism.
Neither Trump nor Tulsi Gabbard has said anything about the U.S. troops who are still in Syria. That's a major question this evening. I should note the former Congresswoman, while she was here on Capitol Hill, did not answer questions from reporters when she was asked about her own relationship with the now ousted Syrian dictator. My source here tonight is the newly reelected deputy chair of the House Progressive Caucus, Democratic Congressman Ilhan Omar of Minnesota. It's great to have you here. On Tulsi Gabbard, you obviously served in the House with her. You overlapped briefly for a little bit of time. You have your own history with her. Given her past and her meeting with Assad after he gassed his own people, what she has said about his rule, how do you feel about her potentially overseeing the nation's top intelligence agencies?
I mean, I don't obviously get a vote
Right.
on her confirmation. But yeah, of course, some of those stances that she has taken are a little alarming. And I think the intelligence community will probably be really worried about having a director that has not always been the clear-eyed about where our priorities are as a country, and the challenges that we face throughout the world.
Yeah, and on that, just looking at the remarkable turn of events over the last 48 hours or so, what's happened in Syria, she said today she agreed with President-elect Trump and what he said. He said the U.S. should stay out of Syria. What do you make of the Biden administration's response? The 75 strikes that we've seen on Syria and its targets there in the last, since this happened.
I mean, this is a watershed moment for the people of Syria, and we know that the Assad regime will forever be known as one of the most brutal and repressive dictatorships in our lifetime. And I am, as someone who was displaced because a dictator was overthrown in my own home country of Somalia and eventually experienced violence, I am really worried about what the future holds for the Syrian people, and I do hope that the international community stands with them as they try to figure out a path forward, that as they build democratic institutions, as they think about what it means to rebuild infrastructure. I don't believe it is necessary for us to militarily be involved. I think that is a detriment to any progress that they are seeking. The Syrian people need to build trust within themselves. They have proven to be resilient and determined to carve out their own future. And we should guide and help what that future looks like, but I don't think we should be the ones determining what that future should look like.
Okay, so it sounds like you don't approve of the Biden administration's strikes in Syria, but you just mentioned your own history, and that I thought about that yesterday when I was listening to Trump's interview that he did with Meet the Press, where he was talking about a renewed effort to end birthright citizenship. He talked about doing this in his first term. Obviously, he can't unilaterally do this, given it's changing the Constitution and it's the 14th Amendment. But as a naturalized citizen, I wonder how you view of Trump, what your view of Trump's effort to try to get rid of that is.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cornerstone to who we are as Americans. I vividly remember when we got wind of the fact that we would get resettlement to the United States in that refugee camp in Mombasa, Kenya. My grandfather saying, you know, we're not going to accept resettlement in any other countries. We want to go to America. Because he said America is where eventually everyone becomes an American. And I think that is one of the reasons that we remain to be a beacon of hope. We think of ourselves as a nation of immigrants. Everyone, unless you are Native American or you came on a slave ship, eventually went through a process to become an American. And so I think this idea that we are not going to allow people that are born in the United States to become citizen and not give people pathways to citizenship. And even worse, when he talks about deportation, he's talking about deporting people with their children who were born in the United States. That is, you know, nearly 50% of everyone that is undocumented in this country has at least one child. Right? Mixed status families are very common in the United States. That is uprooting a 16-year-old that is in high school, planning for the college they're going to go to, and sending them to a country they know nothing about and have not been. That is what he is planning to do to Americans. And that is not only going to destabilize so many communities, but it will create an outright fear in so many people, because how are you even going to find people? How do you create the distinction? Are they going to pull people over that look like they might be an immigrant? Are they going to snatch people from their workplaces? Are they going to snatch people from their places of worship?
I want people to listen to that comment from Trump about what you would do with entire families of mixed immigration status.
We don't have to separate families. We'll send the whole family very humanely back to the country where they came. That way the family's not separated.
The Democrats are the minority, a slim minority, but what does your party do about this if Trump does try to do that?
Well, we do what we have done in his previous term. This is, you know, why we were warning people we knew what he's capable of. We resist. We work with our attorney generals in states. We work with our governors. We work with our mayors. We have to do everything that we can. In Minnesota, there are so many counties where the county does not have a relationship with ICE, where they are not, identifying folks through that system. So we have to find ways to implement programs and carry out protections and boost advocacy. And fight like we've never fought before to make sure our communities remain safe and stable.
Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, great to have you on set here tonight. Thank you. Thank you. Moments ago, we also heard from another one of Trump's picks. Pete Hegseth just did an interview as a key senator is weighing in on a meeting that they had today on Capitol Hill. We'll bring that to you live.